Hello. I'm so glad that you're catching up with one another and you're getting settled in. I am thrilled to be here for another day. We've been having so much fun this week. We have one more session tomorrow, and then we'll be done for June. Hooray! A couple things for you to know about is that I will be doing this now. I've decided at least monthly throughout the summer. Next time we'll use a little bit different format. I'll be going live on um, StreamYard. I'm gonna put some lipstick on. I can't find my favorite lipstick, so this will have to do. But I'll be going live on StreamYard so that I can use some of their tools. It will make it easier for all of us to get through the prompts and um, just have more fun together, I think. So there's that to think of. And also, hi Cheryl. I wanted to show you. I've talked about my journal. This is one of the journals that I have. It is Business Growth Journal for the Heart-Centered Entrepreneur. I realize you probably can't read that because of the way that the filming goes. But this is a guided journal. You can see inside it that I wrote for people who have businesses and who sometimes get stuck. Oftentimes, heart-centered entrepreneurs do get stuck. Oftentimes, we've had a certain amount of wounding and it can at times hold us back. So that's why I created this. Excellent. Cook dinner and listen is fine. Hello, good to see you. Yes, Vicky has watercolor on Thursday night. That's tonight. So we're going to try to see if we can get through the prompts with efficiency because we'd love to support you too, Vicky. Jules, did I say that I'm thrilled that you're here and making your dinner? And I was going to say the kind of ship that we have here, the kind of situation we have here, is that life keeps lifing, and we do the best that we can. So, and always know that you'll have the recaps available the next day if you want to come back, and right there in the description are the prompts and makes it nice and easy for you to watch. And when I am on StreamYard next time, the prompts will be on, beautiful images, and they'll be up when we're writing instead of, well, I think I've actually figured out a pretty good system. Today I was pretty proud of myself for how I put it together. I had everything done. I almost started working on the recap, but I decided no, I was going to give you all the fresh new stuff. So, I'm going to take a quick drink. I know some people have found journals. I know that Cindy found an old journal. I know that Catherine found an old journal. I even found this guided journal that I've used. I've used the business growth journal for heart centered solopreneurs. I've used that before, and I've used it with some clients. It's really pretty fun. So if you're curious about how that looks or how that might work, if you have a business, let me know, and I would be glad to walk you through it. Whew. I've had quite a day. It was lovely. Um, and again, I'm really thrilled that you're all here with me. So today we are going to be looking at our hearts and trusting our hearts. Yesterday, we recognized that journaling with authentic curiosity is a great place to start and continue. And we discover when we're curious what may be possible. When we, and today, what we're going to do is we're going to lean into what our heart knows because our heart leads us to what is true for us. And and the heart has a completely different wealth of knowledge than our mind does or our brain does. And so today we are going to continue to work with stream of consciousness writing during our journal sessions. And when I ask you to do that, what I'm hoping you will do, what I'm hoping you will embrace is writing without forethought. So just as I've said before, follow your pencil across the page. The prompts tonight are really fun. I think you'll enjoy them. And you will be able to listen more closely to the silence because that's how the heart operates. The heart doesn't usually make big demands of us. And the gentleness of the heart has a way of, let's see, it doesn't walk around with a big hammer usually. The heart waits for us to get quiet enough to hear the invitation. And that means that we have to be quiet. And journaling is one way that we get quiet. If we can settle down the ramblings and rumblings in our brain by moving our pencil across the page, then we can find that path to the doorway to our heart. It's like um, when we pray, we are talking to divinity. When we listen, when we open our heart to say, it's very similar to prayer. For some of us, this kind of writing is like prayer. So if that will help you to see this slightly differently, then that might work for you too. But I've often said to people that when they start writing stream of consciousness style, they will also keep their brain from just making a big clumpy mess up in their head. It's like your brain is cluttered, your intellect is cluttered. Um, and when you open up to your heart, you let your heart be the one who is speaking, that clutter goes away. So, hello, free people. Hello, people I've never seen before. And thank you for the compliment. I'm not wearing any eye makeup. So, we are doing journal writing right now. So, if you'd like to write in your journals with us, that would be great. Okay. So, have you ever noticed? I'm just going to ask a question. I'm going to share a few experiences from my life before we get into our warm up. So, it'll be like a minute or two more. And I have notes. I'm very prepared today. It feels really good, actually. Um, so, what I have found is that my heart usually knows. Like when my brain is going 1,000 miles an hour, coming up with excuses sometimes or making up stories that aren't true, not based in reality, but based, excuse me, I'm reaching from my journal, not based in reality, but are based on the stories that we tell ourselves, the stories that we make up, but are not true. Um, but our heart is literally waiting for us to give it an opening to speak and to be with us. Let's see if the 2 are journaling. I don't know if those 2 are journaling, Vicky. My guess is they're gone. I do try to engage with everyone though. So sometimes my heart knows what I need to do before I'm ready to do what I'm supposed to do. Does that ever happen to you? Or am I the only one in the room? Maybe. Sometimes my heart wants me to take more time with things that I do not want to face. I don't want to deal with it. And then sometimes my heart actually makes me physically ill. I get physically ill so that I will slow myself down. Does that happen to anybody else? It's not always the case, but sometimes that happens. So in our warm up today, we're going to tune into our heart. So if you're able to write or if you're cooking or whatever, if you would keep the prompt in the forefront of your mind while the rest of us are writing. Um, do you want me to hide you? Who are you talking to, Vicky? Okay, that's okay, Miss M. Just do whatever you need to do. You're totally fine. It's totally fine. So we're going to go to our warm up prompt, which is, here we go. I'm finding it. The warm up prompt is one of two. You can either prompt saying, "Today, my heart wants me to know." So you'd write that on top of your page, or "Today, my heart is." So my heart wants me to know. Today, my heart is dot, dot, dot. We will take 3 minutes to write. So we're going to take a few deep breaths and settle into our writing. No, it's okay. I've ignored them already. They're not in the forefront of my mind at all. But thank you for offering, Vicky. Yes. Okay. So Jules says she's learning to listen to it before it forces me to. That's amazing. It's a practice. It is a practice, most definitely. So I'm going to write on the top of my page, today my heart is, this is one thing I didn't do. And my heart wants me to know. And now let's do some breathing. It was interesting because yesterday Dave was in here and he wasn't journaling because not everyone is. But he said to me, he said, this is so peaceful and calm with the breathing and then the quiet. So that's what we're going to focus on before we start to write. Okay, so here we go. Let's take a nice deep breath in to get started. Breathe in and exhale. Today, my heart wants me to know. Let's breathe in and exhale. Today, my heart is. Nice deep breath in. Today, my heart wants me to know. And exhale. Today, my heart is. So let's move our pencil across our page, fingers on the keyboard, or our mind, slow, deliberate, and full of breath. Respond to the prompts. Today, one or the other or both. Today, my heart is, and my heart wants me to know. We're going to take 3 minutes. I will cue you when to come back. We have about a minute left. Today, my heart is. My heart wants me to know. Allow yourself to complete that last sentence or phrase. And then we'll come back. Okay. My heart really wanted me to hear this last one. So if your heart really wants you to keep writing for a little bit, that's totally okay too. Totally okay as well. So as we get back together, if you would tap the screen with hearts perhaps, or put an emoji or something in the chats that I know that you're back and that you're with us, that would be awesome. That's a great way for me to feel, okay, the connection is there. So thank you so much if you would do that. So I'll read what I wrote and then we will move to the wisdom, the writing wisdom. Thank you, Cheryl. And excuse me, we'll keep going. So, my heart wants me to know it is safe to trust. This week has been a bounteous rebuilding. I'm not sure if I would have done this so completely if I was at home. I trust my heart will help me find a way. My heart wants me to know I am loved. I am valuable. I am heard. My heart is healthy. My heart feels heard. There is rejoicing. There is a liveliness. Today, my heart is. Today, my heart wants me to know I am loved. I am loved. I am loved. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Vicky. Thank you, Pete Pablo. I'm glad that you're here. We're journaling today and we're talking about what our heart wants us to know. And we're writing and we're meditating and we are pondering. So you're welcome to join us in that endeavor today. The prompts are always in the pinned post as we go along. So next we're going to step into our writing wisdom. And I wanted to tell you a story. My heart wanted me to do something that I wasn't ready to do. It happens. It happens a lot, actually. When for myself, I will confess, it happens when I am usually frenetic or frantic or think that I have to do something that whatever I'm doing is the solution. So my heart wanted me to leave my job as a county bureaucrat, but I didn't want to leave my job as a county bureaucrat. Um, hey, Dora, good to see you. We're doing some writing today and we're talking about what our heart wants us to know. You're in the perfect place at the perfect time. Um, so, what happened was I had this job as a county bureaucrat. I was supporting my family. I was providing the health insurance. I was doing all of this stuff for my family that I felt like I needed to do. It seemed like it was a good fit. I was working with mentally ill people, seriously mentally ill people, and helping them to grow and get stronger. And I really love this work. Um, so that was excellent. I just wanted to read that. Vicky says, "My heart wants me to know Jesus lives there. It is full of love. It will regulate how I interact with circumstances and people." That's amazing. And it's nice to see that Dora and Catherine are greeting each other. Cheryl is being greeted. Um, nice to see Dora. That's excellent. So there I was working for the county. I I went one night of all things to a Bible study, and someone said to me, one of the people at the Bible study said, um, "Doesn't working with these seriously mentally ill people frighten you?" And I said, "No, no, I love my clients. My clients love me. I'm not scared at all." The very next day, I went to work and a client threatened to kill me. I got what was called a terror soft warning. And then less than a month later, I got a second threat. It was scary. So I took a stress leave. And while I was on the stress leave, I discovered this thing called life purpose coaching. And I had been building my first website and I had been writing a lot and I had been getting published, started to get published. And I started to say, hey, I can speak at your group, and just really kind of stepped into this different way of living. And it was a pretty radical thing for me to do. But after I was on my leave for 4 months and I went to be assessed for a workman's comp claim, I didn't even want to have a workman's comp claim, but my bosses made me do it. And I remember looking out over the Pacific Ocean and I was saying, God, whatever you have for me is fine. Kind of one of those, I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but I'm going to trust you. And I feel like I'm not supposed to be still working for the county, But a one last ditch effort when I went back to when my time was up, I went to the county and I said, if I could come back part time, I would be willing to come back. But otherwise, I don't think I want to. And they did not want to give me a part time gig. So I said, all right, then I guess that I'm going to lean into coaching and writing and teaching and speaking and making this life that I eventually have now. So that was when my heart told me to do something really radical. I'm not saying that's for everyone. That was right for me in that moment. So that's a really big one. And part of that was I realized what made me feel fully alive. So that's our next question. When do you feel fully alive? All of you who are here gathered, greeting each other with such great love, what moments have you lived in your life where you just felt fully vibrant, fully connected, fully loving the world, loving one another, loving what you were doing? What was going on then? I'd love to see that in the comments. So think for yourself. Because of my lifestyle now, I can think of many moments, but I've also had many not so great moments. But some of the great moments that I've been in, oh, it's hiking for you, Dora. That's amazing. I love seeing your outdoorsy videos. Um, they're really a lot of fun. I also love being outside. Some people might say tree hugging. Yes, I love tree hugging. I hug trees. And when I get really deeply connected to a tree, I do feel completely alive and completely free. Traveling makes you feel alive. Yes, Dora, I can tell. That's a great answer. For me, collaboration makes me feel alive. So, like this on a live, when we're talking to one another like this, that makes me feel alive. And I feel like when people come on live streams and they chat together and they feel like they're seen and heard, that's another way to feel alive. It's really good. It's really great when you're heard. It's really great when you can come up with ideas and you get encouragement. So think about that. Think about this aliveness. Think about if you can take one moment, a specific moment, that's really helpful. Because, like with all writing, um, with a lot of writing, the more specific you can be, the better your writing will come out. But in journaling and stream of consciousness, that really doesn't matter. What we'd like to tune into, though, is that feeling of vibrant aliveness. So I'm going to put the next prompt up. And during the journaling time, we're going to take about 3 minutes. I would prefer that you would focus on the concept of the prompt. And here's the prompt. I feel most alive when I feel most alive when and I would love for you to tie in the senses. So I feel most alive when I am hiking and I hear the ground underneath my feet. I look up and I see the sky and the clouds, and I know that I'm connected in this moment to this world, that I'm a part of nature. This is me just riffing, but that's what I would love you to do as you are writing in your notebook, writing in your mind, writing in your spirit, writing in your quietness. And then when our time is up, we'll take about 3 minutes for this. Then if you could put those thoughts and those explorations into um, the comments, that would be amazing. Hi, Rhonda. Good to see you. Our prompt is listed as a pinned prompt. I feel most alive when I get those senses in there. When you see, when you fear, not when you fear, when you see, what you hear, what you touch, what you taste, what you smell, what you know. What makes you come alive? I feel most alive. Please write that on your paper, write it on your keyboard. I feel most alive when I feel most alive when I feel most alive when we'll write for about 3 minutes. I feel most alive when I will call you back to the chat in about 2.5 minutes. I feel most alive when I feel most alive when I get those pencils moving across the page, fingers on the keyboard. I'll call you back at about 28 after 3 minutes. Here we go. Thank you. We have a little bit more than a minute left. We'd like to begin winding down. I feel most alive when I. Whew. Okay, begin to close down that question or that phrase, that word. We'll come back into the chat. If you could tap the screen so that hearts or other images pop up, other emojis show up, or put them right in the chat. There you go. Thank you, Jules. Thank you so much. And whoever managed that chat, the message, I appreciate that. That's the one thing with writing, um, and and also attempting to watch the chat. It's helpful to have others out there who can also do that alongside me. If you would like to also put in the chat, if you have any thoughts about when you feel most alive, please add those to the chat now. It's also wonderful. Rhonda, if you're still here, I'm grateful you're here. You arrived at the perfect time, right as we were going into a writing session. So here's what I wrote. I'll just read what I wrote, and you may feel free to add your thoughts in the chat. I feel most alive when I collaborate. I feel most alive when someone, and I put a question mark, there, a collaboration, that collaboration happened right live. I feel most alive when I'm creating, when I remember a notebook on my walks, sitting at high point, looking over the ridge line, the wind gently blowing. Even when I'm cold, there is a kind of aliveness that invigorates or reinvigorates me, leaves me without question, helps me to understand, helps me to understand my heartbeat, my breath, that deep connection where it isn't solely me. I feel most alive when I know that what I'm doing matters. That last piece came right at the end after I said, "It's time to get to the end of our writing, people," which always makes me giggle when that happens. But that's how the heart works. The heart knows when we are most receptive. And as I was writing, there was no question when I said deep connection where it isn't solely me. There is definitely a divine thing that comes through. When our heart feels expansive and alive, I would love for you to tune into that feeling. All right, I missed one of my prompts. Let's see. I'm also aware that Vicky has to leave fairly soon. So I'm trying to juggle. Okay, so this prompt is a really simple one. So I think it's really simple. And it reminds me of a time when I was leading a writing workshop. And I used to prompt, "When I forget to be afraid, I." And when we used that, we were on a bridge line. And so what I did was we actually wrote a collaborative poem when I said, "When I forget to be afraid, I," and people would pepper. They peppered and peppered and peppered the things that when they forget to be afraid, what they are able to do. And so it's, I call that popcorning. We can't quite popcorn here, not in the same way. But when we did that, it was such a fun collaboration, and the poem was gorgeous. And this can happen in any kind of collaborative setting, in any kind of a workshop. If you're leading a workshop, feel free to borrow this technique. It's totally fine. But what happens is that when we said, "When I forget to be afraid, I dot dot dot," as people shared their thoughts, as they put that out into the center of what I called the delicious vat of vulnerability, they were both saying, "Yes, I am afraid of this," or being willing to look at what they're afraid of. While at the same time, we shed that fear, we let it go. And what comes out after that is that new feeling of aliveness that perhaps left us, that left the building, so to speak. So the prompt for this one is to make a list, start with a list of the things you love. So those things that you love that brings you to life, brings you to these feelings of aliveness. So is anyone going to be brave and write some things that they love in the comments? I would love to see. I would love to see that. One thing that I love is poetry. We know that. And I love the quote that I started off with yesterday, which is from William Wordsworth, and who said, "Fill your paper with the breathings of your heart." Fill the paper with the breathings of your heart. So for this one, if you want to make a list in your notebook, thinking of William Wordsworth and making that list of the things that you love, up to 20 things. So my love list is what I'm titling mine, my love list. And by the way, this can be an assignment that you take with you, because I know that some of you are listening, some of you do not have your journals in front of you. So here, I'll show you what I'm doing right here. I'm writing my love list, and I have a whole bunch written down. Those of you who found your journals, you can do this too. And then the prompt that goes with this prompt is, let me unpin that one. The next prompt that goes with that is, where'd it go? If I trusted my heart more, I would dot dot dot. If I trusted my heart more dot dot dot. So if you have your heart list and those things that you love, and then combine that with if I trusted my heart more, which kind of goes back to my story of when I left my conventional job. So Catherine is she's loving her retirement and her channel. Excellent. Jules, I love finding feathers. I love ramen. I love horses, and on and on and on. Exactly. So if you couple those things that you love with a moment of aliveness, so Catherine, I might ask you, what is it about your channel that makes you feel more alive? Like, what is a moment when you're working on your channel that you just felt so vibrant and alive? When you felt that moment of being present and joyful. And if I trusted my heart more, I would. You also might want to borrow that when I forget to be afraid, I. Sometimes we do those things on our with our channels that seem very, very courageous. If you haven't had a chance to watch Jules' musings, she does a lot of really courageous stuff on her channel. Um, I've really been enjoying watching her videos. You feel you're reaching people, even if only a few, exactly. Even if it's only one or one person. Sometimes that is the exact right person who you're meant to be reaching. You're welcome, Jules. Um, I love, like Jules talked about finding feathers. Oh, that's totally cool. Totally cool, Miss M. You are gold. You are gold. Um, when you find feathers, to me that is such synchronicity. We talked about synchronicity yesterday, serendipity. Um, when we can find feathers, when we can notice things and kind of knit those pieces together, there's something really, really special about that. And yes, they make us feel wholeheartedly alive. All right. So I'm glad that you were able to pop in for that. I also had a bonus prompt for overnight. Why don't we take a few minutes? And again, I'm concerned about Vicky. Um, the bonus for overnight, and I was going to say if you watch the recap, which is coming up tomorrow morning, all of these prompts will be in the description of the recap. So if you don't want to go through the whole live stream and all the stuff that happened in the live stream, you can watch it on the recap. It might be helpful for us to do that. Okay, we're going back and back. I love seeing all the chats. I love you all communicating with each other. Oh, here it is. It's right in that same one, which I might have. If I trusted my heart more, I would. And the bonus prompt is my heart has been trying to teach me. My heart has been trying to teach me. Because chances are your heart is helping you get through something and get to someplace more deeply. Yeah. Because your heart has carried you. Your heart has carried you through every season of your life. And perhaps your heart is waiting for you to follow its guidance more than your intellect or your brain. There's magic in the heart and mind connection when we partner up with both of them. So let's go and partner with the love list with trust. If you're trusting your heart more, I would. If I trusted my heart more, I would. So we're going to take some deep breaths and we're going to begin to write. Okay, breathe in. If I trusted my heart more, I would. And exhale. Breathe in again. If I trusted my heart more, exhale, I would. Breathe in. If I trusted my heart more, I would. And we'll write for about 3 minutes. So I'll call you back at 42. I was going to say, Vicky, if you need to leave, that's totally cool. Nobody ever needs to. It's fine when you have to leave. And I just want you to know, Vicky, I'll be supporting you over there. Okay. Okay. Perfect. All right. Back to the prompt. If I trusted my heart more, I would. If I trusted my heart more, I would. If I trusted my heart more, I would. We have about a minute more. Thank you, Catherine, for being here. If I trusted my heart more, if I trusted my heart more, get down to the last word, the last phrase. Ah. When you get done with that, if you could tap the screen for heart or put a comment, that'd be great. For me, that was a really interesting exercise. Um, One of the things that happened in my writing that may happen in your free flow writing, your stream of consciousness writing, I couldn't find the language that I wanted. The language that I wanted was not coming up. I wrote, when I forget to be afraid, I feel ready. And I wanted to say something like powerfully feminine, but the word powerfully isn't quite it. Um, because I feel that feminine energy, that's what I would bring when I forget to be afraid. And that feminine energy can be so fierce and pure, but so different from and I'm looking up because I'm trying to come up with the words, but that was so interesting. And I wrote, if I trusted my heart more, I would understand that the words will find me, especially when I go to sleep, when I go to sleep tonight. And that's why I have that bonus question for us, that question that you might want to take on, which is, my heart has been trying to reach me. How has my heart been trying to reach me? And just really tune into the heart as I go to sleep tonight. And part of that is tuning into your love list, forgetting to be afraid. It was really interesting how that came back into my memory Again, it all works together. We're trusting our process. We're trusting our memories. We're trusting our curiosity and allowing it to go places where we might not expect. And we're trusting our heart. And then tomorrow, we're trusting our becoming to bring it all together. So I want to thank you all for being here, for sharing this time with me, whether you're live or on the replay, whether you're here for 5 minutes or the whole time. It is just such a sheer delight to share this experience with you all. And I'm so glad that I chose to do it this time as a really fun experiment, and very valid and valuable experiment. It feels so good to step back into this space with all of you. So thank you again. I think that we'll just remember to fill our papers with the breathings of our heart as we step out separately together in this collaboration, because I definitely feel the collaborative vibrance of each person who has brought himself or herself here. Good, good, good. Yes. I've often said one of my catchphrases is, if I'm not having fun, it's not going to get done. I need to have that joy and that love and that aliveness. And I definitely feel that. And I'm very, very grateful for each and all of you for hanging out with me. So thank you so much. I'm Vicky. I will see you over in your space very soon. Oh, you've written 7 things, Cheryl. That is so cool. That is so cool. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you did that. And it's interesting because depending upon where we are at any given moment, it is sometimes easier than others to come up with our love list. But that's wonderful. 7 is a great, absolutely great, thrilling. That makes me feel really great, Cheryl. I'm glad that you piped up and said that. How about any gratitudes? If anybody wants to share any gratitudes in the chat as a way of closing, as you know, most of the time when I do these writing exercises, I end with gratitude. So I'll go ahead and riff verbally. I'm grateful that today I got to spend time with um, teacher Kelly Tag, YouTuber. Um, that's the third time we've met because she lives in the DMV, the DC, Maryland, Virginia area where I happen to be right now. And it was so fun because it was just like having a friend over. And she is a friend, but what I said to her was, I have not just had a friend over like that for a long time. And she came over, we hung out in the pool, and we chatted. And we chatted. Hmm. Okay, Vicky says surviving means knowing when something is not safe for me, pausing before harm, doing fewer projects, concentrating when needed, and noticing boredom. My brain means well, but needs traffic control. I like that, Vicky. And your heart can be a good traffic controller. Excellent. I love that. Jules says, I'm grateful I managed to cook, eat, and do a little journaling. Wonderful. What a great combination that is. I prepped food. I did food prep today before Kelly got here. So that felt very nourishing and nurturing to do that. But it was so fun to hang out with Kelly outside in the pool. I got some cute pictures of her too. I have to think of a name for the video we made. If you have any ideas, that'd be great. It's going to be something like, if you saw my channel, Julie and Jill's Epic Midlife Adventure. It's going to be something with that kind of energy. So I can't be really long. You know, the YouTube people say don't make your thumbnails real long. So I might call it something about Kelly and Julie's something. It's George Washington's childhood home. I don't know. You're starting your pause program again for your foundation, Vicky. That's great. That's great. So I'm grateful for the friendships that I've made on YouTube. It's really cool. I'm grateful that you're doing that, Vicky. All right. So we're going to, if you have more, keep letting them flow. And remember to breathe your heart on the page. 2 to 4 words. Yeah, exactly. 2 to 4 words on a thumbnail. By the way, Cheryl, I've been watching Virginia. We both like Virginia, I know, who's going to be working at a high school now, which I think is great. and she's at video camp, and I'm just it's like so much. I would love doing that. I would love doing that too. Makes me so happy that she's doing that. So anyway, thank you all. Thank you for connecting with me, for being with yourself and honoring your heart. You are such a blessing in my life. I thank you over and over and over again for your wisdom. So if you have any ideas about the thumbnail or the title for Kelly and me going to see George Washington's childhood home, that would be great. Okay, live video school with Scott. I wonder if I've seen that one. I think you recommended that to me before, Cheryl. I really appreciate it. Okay, thanks so much. And I look forward to seeing you next time. We'll be back here tomorrow night for our last journaling session of June. Thanks so much. And we will see you around the YouTube.